to Beyond the Ring, a podcast that covers all things in the stock show industry from the informative to the insane, starring Ryan Rash.
May your hopes always outweigh your doubts.
And Dale Hummel.
You need to hang out with people that fit your future, not your past.
Now on with the show.
Welcome to Beyond the Ring. This is Dale Hummel with co-star Ryan Rash.
Hello, hello, hello.
Ryan, I've been away a lot and don't have a lot for current events, but since we last recorded, I actually had the opportunity to discover Moab, Utah and the motorcycle and UTV trails, and I had the privilege of officiating a wedding, my first and last that I'll ever do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been an eventful week and a little bit of a flu bug the past couple of days, but 100% today.
Uh-huh. That's all you have.
And Matthew McConaughey. I did not listen to it all, but I got to hear bits and pieces. I wasn't present when he gave his gun non-control.
I didn't know Matthew McConaughey did anything.
Oh, he went to and again, I'm speaking off of just bits and pieces, so maybe I shouldn't, but I will anyway. He took Circleback's position, or your new girlfriend's position, there in front of the podium at the White House and talked about the Second Amendment. It's amazing to me. He was obviously came across very likable, very genuine, took a few logical points that both sides probably will agree upon. It's crazy. It tells me that we can take a person like this that obviously I don't know how connected he is to the real world in the stardom that he's achieved, and that's all great. But we bring somebody like that in to speak on a topic like this, and obviously Uvalde was his hometown, and it hits him on a personal level from that standpoint, and that's the justification for such. But he does such a good job of bringing some common sense in there and maybe a little bit of give on each side to meet somewhat in the middle. And you know where I'm at on gun control. I don't think that guns ever kill anybody. It's always the person that's using them. And I don't think we can prevent these terrible things that are happening. I think we can lessen them. But you have crazy people in the world that one way or another are going to find a way to do this kind of destruction. We can make it a little more difficult. And I think we talked last time, if we put a border wall around every school, we could probably stop that. But then guess what? They go to the mall, they go to the supermarket, whatever it may be. This leads me into several things that we can talk about. But if you get a chance, you need to listen to a little bit of what he said. I think it came across very, very well.
I'd never heard anything about this. When did this happen?
I think a couple days ago. I did not see the full speech. I just saw on the news bits and pieces from it. And I couldn't believe he's at the same podium that I think in the press secretary room.
He spoke from the White House?
I'm 90% sure. Now, again, I could be confused. I was a little delirious and ill the last couple of days, so maybe this was in my head, but I'm pretty sure that was the case, and it hit me very odd. But he did a really nice job. It's the first thing that I don't know if you give Biden's administration credit for. I have no idea how it came to be. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Really?
Seems odd. I agree. I may be confused, and I am happy to stand corrected.
He was at the White House. I just looked this up.
Yeah. And again, he comes out there and talks about, well, maybe we should raise it from 18 to 21. Some things that you could say, okay, we can give on this if we don't have to go too far.
I knew he was a Democrat.
I thought he took middle of the road. He did not come across either way.
Yeah.
He very much defended the Second Amendment in the little bit that I saw.
He had to, or he gets shot when he got back to Texas.
I agree. So, I mean, I don't know you would assume an actor, you'd assume liberal, you'd assume a lot of things, but listening to it, there was, in my opinion, the little I heard, almost zero partisanship either direction.
Well, good.
So it was interesting. But you know what, Ryan? And I've thought about this after I heard that in my delusional flu-like state. Wouldn't it be simple? And maybe I'm all wrong. Think about how long Sleepy Joe's been in politics, and your girlfriend Nancy and a few of the others, all of the career politicians. Mm-hmm. Do you not agree that they become so detached from the real world, they become almost completely useless? And the simple fact that when they are able to do that, they can benefit financially, and they put their financial benefit at sea.
Are you talking about term limits? Yes, they should have term limit.
What about just blanket, one term, done? period, for everything.
See, why do you have to be so crazy? You can't do anything in one term. No one can do anything.
But you also don't have to pander to the stupid ass far extreme of any division.
They even let the president of the United States serve 2 terms.
I understand.
And he gets 8 years. I think everybody should get 8 years. Same that the possibility of 8 years.
I understand it's hard to accomplish a lot in one term, but I see so many benefits from getting elected and doing kind of like a Supreme Court justice. Once you're elected or put into that position, it's done. And again, I'm not saying for lifetime politician terms, but just the philosophy that you're in that position and you can do what you were elected to do, irregardless of who you're going to upset, because you don't have to get reelected. You're not going to get as much political benefit financially because you're not going to be there that long. Think about how much Pelosi's husband's made in the stock market because of her.
He's in jail. Leave him alone.
Is he in jail?
No, but he needs to be.
I wish he was. What about all the money from Ukraine and Russia and China that the Biden's brother, son, all of the, it's just, there is no sense. And I would take, let's compromise. I'll take the 2 terms. That's better than where we're at. But I truly stand behind the one term.
You do realize that no one is going to run worth a damn for 1 term. No one. Because they know they can't get anything done.
No, I think you're right. And that's the exact point that I want to make. You're not going to have any career politicians. You're going to take some successful business people or other people.
No one's going to run.
Yeah, intelligent people that want to make a difference.
Who is going to uproot their life and move to Washington, D.C. for 2 years as a senator? No one. No one.
I would do it. And I would drag your happy ass along with me.
No,
you're right. 2 years is probably let's say 4 years. How's that? Can we compromise at that?
I think everybody should be the same. 8. That's what the president can be.
I think it's too long.
I mean, but I do believe there should be term limits.
I guess I love 8 years if it's the right person, but when it's the wrong person, I'm out. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But those career politicians are weighing on me a little bit, and it bothers me. And the fact is, doesn't this seem very odd to you that Matthew McConaughey comes to the?
I knew he was a Democrat.
Well, I don't know that maybe he. I really don't know.
He wouldn't got to spoke at the White House podium if he was not a Democrat.
Well, he did not say everything they wanted. I am confident that what he said.
Joe wouldn't know. He probably didn't even hear it.
You're probably
right.
Was
Joe there? No.
So what? And I'm going to apologize. I think so little of your girlfriend that you're so high on. That's now the president. I don't even know her name.
Okay, stop.
What is her name?
I told you. I don't know. I told you from
Little
the beginning.
Beetlejuice is what I think
she was going to be a bigger disaster than Jen Psaki. But I think she's really cute.
No, I don't think she's cute. I don't see anything positive. Nothing.
I think her aesthetic look, she is cute as she can be. I think
she seems very incompetent.
No, she is. And I told you before she ever was the official one, when Psaki had COVID, Rona, she was terrible and this was going to be a horrible idea.
You did mention that, but you thought her cuteness would get her through.
No, I just think her physical looks. She is a very cute girl. That's it. That's all I said.
Should that play? Yeah, okay.
That's all I said.
I at least would have to say, even though it's used for the wrong purpose, that Circleback had some level of intelligence.
No.
Yeah, I think she did, and she fought back. I mean, if you listen to what she said, you said she's crazy, but I think it was all intentional. I think she knew that she was lying every single day.
Well, that's good for her.
No, it's terrible. She should feel. I shouldn't. I'm not going to say it.
What? Lord.
I do not like her.
Oh, no, I do not. I don't know many people that do. I don't know. I mean, none. I don't know any. I do not know a single person that likes her. But I want to talk about Joe Biden. So things are not good for him. It's really bad. And all of these. So the press, they got him elected from the basement. And then for a little bit, they just didn't look at things, whatever. Well, now they're kind of turning on poor Joe. And there's op-eds coming out and all this other stuff that he is losing, literally seething, that his poll numbers are so disastrous. He blew up and I guess had a meltdown over the fact that he didn't know about the baby formula shortage in time. All of these, there's all these things going on. And so now these things are getting out. And the only reason that I can come to the conclusion that now the press is turning on him a little bit. I don't think it's nearly as bad as it could be, but they are turning a little bit.
I'm going to apologize for it. Why do you, I agree with everything you're saying. And why do you think now they're turning? Just because there's so much they have no choice?
No, I think that they're turning because I mean, they may make it to the midterms, may not. I believe that all the Democrats are fixing to turn on Biden and be like, not get him out, but like talk that he's not doing the right things, all this stuff to try to save the midterms. That is what I believe. And I believe the press is starting it.
And that would all tie together and make a perfect logical explanation.
That is my belief. And I may be completely wrong.
I can see that a little bit. And then when they do that, Joe is going to come, if he's consciously aware of it, he's gonna get very angry. He'll call him dog face, pony soldier, or something.
Yeah, whatever. But like, that's because otherwise, why would they turn on him just to turn on him? They wouldn't, because they hate.
Yes, you're right.
Because this is only going to help Republicans if there is not a greater cause, a greater platform for them. I think they're all going to turn on him, and that the media is starting it, and they're all going to go together, and they think that will save them in the midterms. Because I think they have resigned themselves to the fact that they're going to lose control of both houses. But maybe if they all say, you're right, Biden's let us down this thing, we've got to do differently, all this stuff, maybe it won't be as big a bloodbath as what is predicted.
I agree with that completely. No, I think so. And I think they're trying to obviously we have some primetime crap about January 6th coming up. I don't know, maybe today. I don't even know when it is. But they're going to try to continue to push a few things that I don't at this point, and I hope it doesn't necessarily change, and I don't want it for the worse of our country, but I see nothing that's going to save them from losing both houses. I hope I'm correct with that.
No, I don't think either, but I think they're just trying to make the bleeding less substantial. And the only way to do that at this point is be like, y'all are right. He's an idiot. We've got to change. Whatever. They've got to like feed him to the sharks. Like that's the only way to shore up any of it. But
I had something that kind of relates to this. And I again, when I honestly laid in bed for the most part of 2 days. So I had way too much time to think about things. And when I think about how far your president, Mr. Joe, has committed to the crazy left and the crazy new Green Deal, that if you boil a lot of the problems that we have in our country right now and in the world down, a lot of it depends on the fact or the policy that Joe put in place via executive order and his rhetoric about ending the fossil fuel industry and everything that he's done against us being energy independent and being able to supply some of the other parts of the world with energy, that he has allowed this push to the far left to get to green energy. And I'm not against green energy, Ryan. I think it's something we can evolve to. I'm a big proponent of nuclear energy, and I think that's the only true way at this point that we can make a transfer to that more quickly, and we need to redo our entire grid system in the U.S. to allow more electrical power to individual residents. There's a lot of things that have to take place, and he's trying to make this happen overnight, and this is causing a complete disaster. His commitment to shutting down the fossil fuel industry via the Keystone Pipeline, not allowing new leases, everything that he's done, and just his negative rhetoric. Why would a oil company want to invest millions and millions of dollars if they think the plug's going to be pulled on them next year or whenever it may be? So he's been so negative on it. This, to me, contributes and has contributed to the cause of the Ukraine war, allowing oil prices to get high enough Russia could afford to do it. The weakness of the U.S. as we're viewed by others in terms of just where we're at in the world standing. If we aren't energy independent, we're out begging Saudi Arabia, begging Venezuela, or Joe is, I should say, produce more fossil fuel. And we're still missing the big picture. Fossil fuel has to come out of the ground from somewhere until we can make that conversion. Why on earth would we not want it to come from our ground, where we probably do it a little bit cleaner, It benefits our economy, all of those things. And we can keep the prices down on this because if you go further into this, every single thing, our fuel costs have impacted everything. The fuel prices are literally fueling inflation, touching every product we purchase, period. And it's caused more. It seems to be such a simple issue that he refuses. What did he invoked the Emergency Defense Act again, I believe, or is doing it. Did you hear anything about this?
No.
You want to know what it's for this time?
I have no idea.
To I don't know if you use the word develop or allow more solar panels.
Oh, wait. Yes, I did hear about this. Yes, you're right. Yeah. That's going to fix everything.
He thinks that if we make more solar panels right now, which we can't, our supply chain issues, the solar panel companies in the U.S. are upset because basically he's going to lift the tariffs and allow all these solar panels to come from China, which I don't have to tell you what I think of that, right?
Right.
It is unbelievable. Ryan, explain to me why he has to be aware that what he's done with our energy policy and being so negative on fossil fuel has caused lots and lots of problems, and there is a fix to it.
I don't know if he's aware of anything.
He has to be.
I just don't know. I'm being real honest, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I don't think the man's aware of anything anymore.
But doesn't that seem so simple?
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but...
It gets me. So, I mean, I don't know where we're going to be. Remember, just a couple weeks ago, I predicted $6 gas prices here in Illinois before the summer was over. Mm-hmm. Guess what?
It's going to be before the end of June.
I think we're just about there.
I mean, it's going to be for the end of June. It's like, I think yesterday it was $5.60 in Texas somewhere.
Oh, ridiculous.
But, yeah. So, anyway, so the other point that I make on Joe is he spent a 4-day weekend in Delaware, all this other stuff. He hasn't,
He did end up going to Delaware for the 4 days. I thought he wasn't going to.
No, he went for all 4 days. Yeah.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, he went for all 4 days. He's going to be on Jimmy Kimmel or something.
I heard that. Are you kidding me?
And so, he hasn't had an interview with anybody, but he's going to go on, a comedy show. And, yeah. So, I don't think the man knows what's going on completely. But I do believe that there is an Oz, but I think Oz has lost their mind too.
No, I think you're right. No, I think I don't think they've lost them. I think this has been from the beginning. Crazies.
I mean,
total crazy.
I just don't understand it. But I mean, when CNN, MSNBC, all these people who literally acted like he was God and all this other stuff, and there is quite, I mean, I'm not talking about how they trash Trump every day, but every single headline has a negative tone or a negative connotation, and to be this has got to change, and this has got, I mean, it's not good.
No, it's terrible.
Only other thing on current events, because I know we're going long, I want to say is, I know it's Pride Month. Y'all know what I think about Pride Month.
I'm going to bring this up later.
But, so... I think y'all know I'm not a sports
Pride
person.
Month, you're talking about straight male white Pride Month.
Whatever. Yeah. No. I think is there a baseball team called the Rays? Tampa Rays?
I don't know. I can't. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may have the names wrong and the sports wrong. Anyway, there's a sporting team that some of the players are refusing to wear rainbow insignia on their uniforms because it's a faith-based decision, whatever. And this is causing all this uproar. Okay, here is my thing. Why is it that, just months ago, if you didn't want to stand for the national anthem, that was your choice and we needed to respect it and all this other shit. Now, because some baseball players don't want to put the little rainbow insignia on their uniform, that's wrong and they're evil. It's the same thing. Why is that not respected? And this is coming from a gay man, okay?
You're not gay. You are not.
I am gay.
No, you're something else. We just haven't come up with a name for it.
I want to know, why, if we have to respect people kneeling for the national anthem, why can we not respect the fact that these people don't want to put a rainbow thing on their uniform?
I tell you, Ryan, it all puzzles me. I really believe, and I think you agree with me, and I'm very open about these things with you, that the Gay Pride Month or National Black History Month or whatever it might be. And again, I nothing against any of that, but it appears
I
to me,
have things against Pride Month.
Okay. It appears to me, doesn't it cause more issues than any good it could possibly do?
I don't know. I cannot speak for Black History Month or like Women Awareness Month or whatever. I can speak as a gay person. Okay.
No,
this is what I'm going to say. I have actually, I went to one Pride event, and if I was going to do it, I went to the New York Pride thing. I did it. I was going to try this several years ago.
You never told me this.
Oh, yes, I have. You don't listen. But anyway, I went.
No, I would remember.
And what I do not understand is
that the same year you voted for Hillary?
No, I don't understand how people in the LGBTQ community can think running around half naked, drunk, and drugged all day for a week or a month is going to make people go, oh, aren't they cute? Yes, we love these people. No, I don't get it. It makes no sense. And this is the other thing, and this is like, I guess this goes to your point. I am not proud to be a gay man. I'm not unproud to be a gay man. I am just gay. It is what I am. I don't think it's something to be celebrated.
Or a subsector of gay, not gay.
I don't think it's something to be hidden. It's nothing like that.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. That's all there is to it.
You did not choose to be this way?
No.
Oh, I thought it was a choice that you made.
No, but I mean, I just
can't believe you admitted you went to. I cannot believe you went to Gay Pride.
Oh yeah,
event. That shocks me. I from what you're talking about, it sounds like it could have been fun.
Oh, it was entertaining, but like once is enough. Like it's fine. I mean, one time I'm good, but
and we're too long here. When you don't visit, I understand you don't communicate a lot with the gay community.
No,
but when you do have encounters with others from the gay community, I assume most of those are pretty big fans of Gay Pride Month.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I see. You defy everything there is about being a gay person of the stereotypical gay person.
I realize that.
That's why you're not a gay person, but I'm going to come up with the name yet. We're going to write a book and then we're done. We retire. It's done.
Great. Okay.
Well, once again, I think we probably better move forward.
Yeah.
But before we get into the main topic, I would like to express a sincere thank you to ShowFresh H2O for sponsoring this episode. It's interesting. Once I brought this up, Ryan, I don't know, a few weeks ago on the podcast, I've had numerous inquiries about the product and my thoughts on goats or sheep or cattle or how it all works. And again, I try to explain to everyone that I talk to that water is the most critical of the 6 basic nutrients. And if you want to take yourself out of the hunt to win at any level, any show, simply don't get enough water into your stock. You know how crazy I am about it. My children rebel when I say, okay, we're going to Oklahoma City with a pen of bulls. I need 70 5-gallon buckets of water loaded up just to make sure they will drink on their own the entire time they're there. Or if we're going to Kansas City, load up 20 buckets just for the goats. That's a lot of work. It's sometimes we don't have space in the trailer, all those things. So if we can take something like anything that's going to help those animals continue to drink, whether it's ShowFresh H2O or we bring water from home, whatever it is, but it seems very simple to me. If ShowFresh H2O neutralizes the chlorine, and everybody that I've talked to has had glowing reports about such. And again, I haven't taken it on the road into the cattle shows or anything like this, but I've witnessed others that have done it and talked to them, that it seems as though chlorine is one of the huge contributors why livestock will shy away from that water, especially if they're coming from well water, going into a chlorinated water at a show. So with that said, it seems very simple to me. Give it a try, ShowFresh H2O, and I simply appreciate them contributing financially to allow Clifton to be paid in this podcast to continue.
We love it that they pay Clifton.
Yeah. We ought to just have them write the checks directly to Clifton. And
then I think it'd be a great idea, but I mean,
what do you have for sponsors from the Junior Association?
So we do have a new national award sponsor, and it's Rocking W. Angus that is located in Waterford, California. Brad and Cindy Worthington focus on raising consistent, high-quality Angus heifers. They utilize IVF for most of their program. and they calve both in the spring and fall. They typically market 15 to 20 Angus heifers private treaty throughout the year, with their main emphasis being supporting the juniors that exhibit them. Brad has been their operations manager at Vintage Angus in Modesto for over 20 years and has been an active member of the California Angus Association, serving as vice president. Really great people. We appreciate Brad and Cindy of Rockin' W Angus for being a national award sponsor. So again, thank you very much for your support of the BTR JLA.
Brad and Cindy, just really good people, and this is evident. I mean, just doing things like this, and they're probably as outspoken about the junior industry as anybody out there, and it's just thank you. It's appreciated, and I hope that this continues, Ryan, and it's on such a steep path in terms of membership and sponsorship and everything's. It's gone so far beyond what I thought could happen in the first year, and it's because of people like Brad and Cindy that are allowing this to happen, and a sincere thank you.
Yes. Your dogs are very hyper today.
They are. They're kind of wound up. I think they see maybe a coyote outside or something like that.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, and if anybody's interested, I have 2 Pyrenees for sale. I shouldn't say for sale, for free, if anybody would like.
That's nice. Now you're giving dogs
They keep
away.
the coyotes away, but they roam to the neighbors, and the neighbors don't know what to think of them. It's kind of a mess right now.
A mess.
Are you ready for the main topic?
Yes, I need to do a little top 10 for the BTR JLA first, though. So, top 10, I'm pulling out here. Top 10 intermediate cattle is what we're going to do this week. First place, Cole Van Meter of Monin, Indiana. I don't know Cole. Monin. I know who Cole is, but I didn't. Anyway, I don't know how to pronounce his hometown. Then Jack Witter of Indiana is in second. Adeline Hamilton of Texas is in third. Grace Grosetta of Arizona is fourth. Sarah Danley of Texas is fifth. Megan Brunke of Michigan is sixth. Chloe Dugan of Arizona is seventh. Caitlin Sherman of Indiana is eighth. Isabella Ford of Illinois is ninth. And Jaden Herzog of Michigan is 10th.
That's that's maybe the best spread across states that we've had. I love it. And you know what I think is as time goes on, that's going to continue to be that way, is my guess.
Yes.
We hope anyway.
Mm-hmm.
This topic may get us some hate mail.
Oh, well, it is what it is.
It is. I'm okay with it. It's fine. Guilt by association is our main topic today, and when we can take this a lot of different directions, and I don't know what is going to be the ideal direction. How do you like that background noise, Ryan?
I think the dogs are very upset.
I think that there's something that they are very upset about. Hopefully they'll quiet down here, but
at least it's not Cherie's dog this time. It's your dog.
Oh, I know, and I can't just ship these back to Cherie. These are French bulldogs that my wife has a very
really
strong
appreciates and likes. Yeah.
Oh, very, very,
very much. But this whole thing here, guilt by association. I mean, it's kind of like just like what in life, you have these lessons and stuff like that. And I think the one thing that like people forget is you're always judged by the company you keep, and that is part of it. And I can say that this has happened to me. There have been people when I was brokering cattle and all this other stuff that like they didn't want to buy from me for whatever reason, all this other stuff. So like I'm saying it happens to all of us, and whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but like there are things that happen that depending on who you run around with, who you buy from, who's your fitter, all this other stuff, people look and judge all of that. And so people don't want to talk about it, but it's the truth.
And I could break it into two categories, Ryan. In guilt by association, or that psychology, it's interesting to me. And there's the woke world that we're in right now. You could be hanging out with your buddies. You could be walking down the street and they decide to go in and loot Walgreens. And you don't go in Walgreens, you don't loot it, but you're standing outside waiting for them, and then you hang out with them afterwards. That is a choice that you made to be around those kind of people. And under that situation, guilt by association, even though you didn't go in there, it's a bad choice that you made. And why would you want to aspire to put people around you like that? So that guilt by association there. Another example I'm going to use you as an example. The fact that you're gay, or not gay, but something like that. I don't think we should automatically associate you with the gay community and Gay Pride Month and all those things, because there's a lot of those things that you very much disagree with. So there's situations where you choose to put yourself around those people that aren't maybe the best people to be around. And there's other situations because of your color, because of your race, because of whatever, you're compiled into a group. And I don't necessarily, if it's not by your choice, then we have to try to sort through some of that. But it's absolutely, and you touched on this, it's human nature, and it's always going to be association by those you surround yourself with. And I think that's logical. And that human nature, the way our mind works, is not going to change. There's always going to be some of that. It just is what it is. But I think maybe go further, Ryan, rather than you being accused of being similar to those you hang around with. How about as parents or as ourselves, why wouldn't we aspire to be around better people, or people that we want to be like, or that hold the same moral value as we do? That's what confuses me sometimes.
The whole thing of this is like, I guess why I thought this was something that we needed to bring up, because especially in our industry, like, I think that large majority of the people in this industry are good people that have the right intentions, all this other stuff. But there is a handful of people that aren't. And I'm just going to be honest with you, that handful of people that aren't, most of them are wildly successful. And whatever reason, a lot of people see that success, and maybe when they go into that situation, they don't know exactly the whole thing. But once you get in there, you figure it out. And a lot of times we choose the chance of success over maybe we should take another route. Do you understand what I'm saying here, Dale?
I think I was going to try to put that into the same words and probably couldn't have done it as well. There's no question, Ryan, and that's so well spoken. In our industry, we have parents, and I'm gonna just throw it out there, that are so desperate for that win for their kids, and it may be because they didn't achieve it in their show career, whatever reason it may be, they're willing to toss everything out the window that's good about the junior livestock industry and possibly surround those with some that are less than ethical and less than good people to achieve that banner. And that just shocks me, because actions and who you're surrounding yourself, or especially surrounding kids around, if you're choosing to be around those people or put your children around those people, that's almost a stamp of approval, whether you say it or not. Your actions by doing that is impacting your children. They're absorbing this, whether you're talking about it or not. The actions speak louder than words. The actions actually speak volumes by who you surround your children with. And I don't see anything positive that can come from that. And as a parent, it just shocks me that this is done more than not. And a lot of times, like Ryan said, you may go into a situation that you're not completely aware, but it shouldn't take you very long to figure it out. And the fact that you make a conscious decision to continue to allow to have your kids in that environment is shocking to me.
I'll just get extremely personal and use a real life example. When I was a junior exhibitor and my brother was a junior exhibitor, we had a lot of fitters. And not all the same ones. We had some that were there, most of the show career, but we had lots of them that just come in for, months and then gone and all this other stuff. But and Cherie would say this, if she was on here, she would say that she probably did not vet them well enough, pay enough attention to were they good people, what their habits were, and all this other stuff. And I'm just going to be super honest. Randy died because of drugs and alcohol. He was an addict, and that's how he passed away. And it was because some of the people that were helping us introduced him to drugs. And that's just plain as it can be.
No, that's personal and that's real, Ryan. Maybe he would have been introduced somewhere else, but that was.
I'm not saying that he wouldn't have found this habit otherwise, but it was there, and this is how that happened. And I think a lot of times that we forget or don't turn a blind eye to stuff. And I'm not just talking about drug abuse or drinking or just like we just turn a blind eye to things because things are going our way or other things are, doing good and all this other stuff. But in the end, you have to remember that the people that these kids are around and the people that they choose, their parents choose, like, that's a role model for that kid in some way. They're going to look up to them, and whatever they do, whether it is, there's 900 things that I could say, but when you put that stamp of approval on putting this person, your kid, around this person at shows and multiple shows and stuff like that, children are very, very observant, and they see all the behaviors, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if they're in that situation, a lot more times than not, that's acceptable behavior, whatever it is. Whether
even if a parent, you've had those talks that it's not, but if your actions don't follow that, they're gonna take the lead of your actions every time over what you're telling them.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not preaching to the choir because I am not a saint by any means. But, and like I said, I have been one that they said, no, we're not going to buy from you because of XYZ. There have been judges. And again, people that judge shows, like, we're not going to use anything Ryan Rash has to do with because of XYZ. I know these things for facts. This is not like hearsay. And so all of that is in there. So I just think that being perfectly honest, sometimes we got to step back and be like, whether successful wins, all that stuff, be like, is this someone that in the end, when this is over and my kid moves on, I would be okay with my child being like this person?
I think that's the bottom line. Look at who you're surrounding them with and make that choice. Is this what I want them to be like in life? And I can go into more detail. Just there's times where not showering for weeks at a time, some drug issues and things like that, running from one show to another seems to be glorified. And it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Again, there's a host, and nobody's perfect, and I get that, but there are signs and there is evidence that there are some people out there that probably you don't want your kid to be like in the end. And I don't think enough people look at the situation and take that into account. Because just like you said, Dale, I'm sure all of these people are saying, well, XYZ does this, but we know that's just him and we can't do that and that's not right, whatever. But then you go to another show the next week and it happens again. So I don't know.
And I think there's a very small segment in our industry that are issues. The overwhelming majority, it's everything we want to talk about this industry and be proud of. But it seems like there's a small sect that really gives the rest of the industry a black eye. And we've had situations, you remember a couple of years ago at Phoenix, and there's plenty of situations out there that this is uncalled for. Yeah. And it's a very, very few that if we could reel that in and avoid those few, our industry could be that much better. Do I think this is possible to always root out all the bad? No. And again, like Ryan said, I'm no saint either. And I'm not trying to preach up here that we have to have this perfect utopia world. No, but there are some extremes that we can avoid that I think makes it better for our youth.
Right. And again, at the end of the day, if you can, as a parent, if you're a mentor or any of these things, you can say, you know what? This is who I've chosen to hang with. This is who I've chosen to be around and all this stuff. And I'm okay with my kids being like that or being associated with that. Then I think we need to think those things. And I think we probably need to speak them out loud, as a group, in your family, all those things, and just for everybody, I'm as competitive as person as there is out there. And I want to win. I don't just want to win. I want to win showmanship, and I want to win the show, and I want to be top 5, all of the top 5, all the things. I think that there's also a time that we have to step back and be like, is this what I'm doing right here worthy of the win? Like, is that behavior something that's acceptable? And you have to make that judgment call, because here's the thing. I don't care who you are. I don't care what level of success you have achieved, or, whether you're a parent, a major show judge, whatever. There is someone in that show barn that day that you are the role model, and you may not even know it. So we literally have to be the very best that we can be for those people.
Absolutely. Very, very well put. Ryan, I'm going to use you as a personal example. And I want to start off by saying your mother is a very wonderful lady. Everybody she meets is a great person, at least until something goes wrong.
Yeah. Then when something goes wrong, God help you if you're that
Yes.
person.
But think about during your show career, I have no idea, but I'm going to guess just for fun. I bet you had 50 plus fitters come through the barn.
Oh, easy.
Probably more.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say some of those were incredible role models, and some may have been the worst you could ever imagine.
Absolutely.
And I don't doubt that over time, when they come in and prove themselves, hopefully Cherie tried to eliminate some, or you threw a red flag up. I believe you might have fired a couple.
I did.
Yourself as a 10-year-old.
Probably more than Cherie or John Ben did. I'm not going to lie.
But those are that's what I'm talking about. We're not always going to make the right decision. But if we get into a situation and we see that we made that mistake, let's be our own CEO and correct that. We have control over what direction our life goes, and more importantly, the environment that we're raising our kids in. Mm-hmm. Very, very simple. I don't know, Ryan. There's a lot of different directions we can take on this within the junior livestock industry, but I think especially in how you summed up some of these things and the way you worded it, I hope as listeners, I hope you understand what we're trying to get at. And again, I want to reemphasize, this is a very small portion, just like everything else in life. There's always those few that the spotlight gets shined upon that maybe gives a black eye or makes it look worse than it is. And again, in general, our industry is still the best youth building experience that you could ever imagine. I have no doubt in that. I think there's a lot of good activities, whether it be sports or other things or youth leaderships or whatever. But I still think our junior livestock industry and everything it revolves around is the best way we can raise kids, period. And the reason that Ryan had thrown this topic out there is, let's continue to try to do better. And there is a segment out there, just like there is in everything, that is not ideal by any means. And I'm not saying that we can there is a way to completely eliminate it, but we sure can do better. That's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I agree with you. There's obviously, I am very passionate about this industry. I literally spend all my time on the road judging shows, all this other stuff. And I love it. And I think it's the best place to raise a child. But just like you're saying, in every industry, there are things that aren't good and there are rotten apples and all this other stuff. But my point is, nobody ever talks about it. And the only way that anything's ever going to be fixed or the discussion gets started is if we do address it and we do talk about it. And so that's one thing. I just want people to think, is this right for my kid? Is this worthy? Is this worth, the banner? All those things, because we don't talk about it enough, but those are things that need to be addressed out there. And it's a very small, minute section of the group, but I promise you, in your own, in homes and circles and trucks and whatever, those discussions aren't happening, but there are other people saying, did you see XYZ and what they did or all this other stuff? And if you're attached to XYZ, you're guilty by association.
Absolutely. 100%, Ryan. Thank you for those comments. And the listening public doesn't realize, but Ryan's away from home again, and I think about to run out of battery. So with that said, we're going to move into question and answer. And I know you're so excited, Ryan. Hopefully we can get through all 3 questions for you before your battery dies. The first one comes to us from Marie. The question may relate more to the BTR JLA than Beyond the Ring, but I thought I would toss this out there and let you guys decide. I have had good luck contacting shows my kids will be attending and requesting that they allow the kids to get BTR JLA points. As there's no charge to sanction, it seems very simple. I have run into one show that does not want to bother with sending in the results. Any suggestions on how to approach this issue? It seems crazy that they will not do something so simple for the benefit of the kids.
Yeah, I mean, if that one show, I don't know what to say. I don't know how I can make it any more simple. It's literally 2 emails. It's emailing a form and it's emailing the results. I mean, again, if that's how they're going to be, I don't think they're in the business for the kids. That's my opinion. But I don't have an answer to how to make them or convince them otherwise.
Yeah, there's no logical. I don't know what it takes away, and when you and Ryan, I don't get any of the results, but I've discussed this with you. You take the results almost in any form, like take a picture of them on your phone and text them.
Yes,
form.
Yes,
that's crazy.
Yeah, any form.
So it's not hard.
No, every show takes results. I mean, every show takes results. And again, if it's nothing more than taking a picture of the handwritten results and emailing that or texting it, we'll take it. But every show does take results. So they are there. You have them. All you got to do is send them to us somehow.
Good enough. Fair enough. The next question comes from Lance. I heard you guys talk about having shows allow exhibitors to have more input, especially on judge selection. We're getting a lot of questions. I probably had 3 or 4 on this, Ryan. I think this is brilliant and will be healthy for the industry. How do we as show families help push this narrative? That's a good question.
Talk about it to every show you go to, the show managers. Share the examples on social media of shows that are putting this in place. The only way that more and more shows are going to do this is if they know this is what the exhibitors want. So any single way, whether it's through social media, whether it's word of mouth, all that stuff, that you can let the industry know that this is what you want, that's what you need to do.
Agreed. Lance, thank you. Very, very good question. The next one, Ryan, I believe this question came in from Clifton. Remember, he gets paid a small fortune to do some of these things?
Right.
And he forwarded this one to us. It's a little bit long, but I think a good question. I have no idea where he gets these, where they even come into. This one comes from Carrie. My husband and I listen to your podcast. We absolutely love what you guys have to say, and we have learned a lot. We were listening to the Sheep and Goat Showmanship podcast. There was lots of helpful information. We do have one question for you. Our 2 girls show boar goats. We have always been told from the get-go that if a goat stops in front of you or your goat stops, you are to grab the tails and make them go. You have covered this in your podcast, and it shouldn't be done. We absolutely agree with this. However, here is my question. The lady that is in charge of our goat program at our county fair every year insists that the kids grab the accelerator on the goat in front of them and make it go. While we obviously don't care for this method, she is very insistent that the kids do this. During the show, she will call the kiddos out on the microphone and make the kids grab the tail of the goat in front of them if it's acting up. How do we politely decline and not cause drama? My girls are taught not to do this and don't do it at all at jackpot shows. Any advice would be appreciated.
I would go up to this lady personally.
I'd just tell her she's crazy.
And be like, this is not good. And if you don't know it's good, let me explain to you why. Don't do it like rude or anything, but like
I think when they're that crazy, it's okay. Any approach you want to take.
I think that you should go have a one-on-one conversation with a woman and try to explain to her that this is the absolute worst thing that you could do.
And if she's calling these kids out on the microphone.
And then if she does not listen to you, whatever, I would just stand your ground and tell your girls not to do it, even if she gets called out on the microphone.
Agreed completely. Absolutely and completely. But Carrie, thank you for the question. I think she just doesn't know. And if you explain it to her, it'll all change. Let's be optimistic. Rainbows, unicorns, butterflies, and gay pride all in one. Ryan, thank you for another good episode. I hope it's well received. And until next week, be safe.
Y'all come back now, you hear?